I'm going to show you my favorite build in Helldivers 2 so far. This is the Stealth Assassin build, and this one is going to be very different than probably all the other builds that you've seen. Now, this one is actually insane, because with this one, you can do solo missions. I literally already have a video where I completed 3 operations in a row on Helldive difficulty by myself, and extracted on all 3 using this build that I'm going to show you. In order to have success with this build, you're going to have to learn how to play differently. This one's going to be less confrontational. You can still fight very well with this build when you need to, but this build's about agility, about stealth, about getting the objective done, and less so about fighting a never-ending horde for 40 minutes straight. But with this build, you could fight a never-ending horde for 40 minutes straight, and it actually wouldn't be that bad. So first, go to the Acquisition Center. We're going to go to the Helldivers Mobilize War Bonds, and over in page 2 is the first thing we use, which is the this thing, the P19 Redeemer, just because it's a great secondary. It's a submachine gun, and most importantly, you can fire it one-handed. Very, very nice for keeping hunters off of you in a pinch and to get stalkers off of you in a pinch. And then we also use the SMG 37 Defender. And another reason for this is because it's one-handed. On top of that, it's just got a nice amount of capacity to damage. The damage capacity ratio is really good on this thing, so you get a lot of damage out. It's mainly the main thing for our primary guns are for keeping hunters at bay and just clearing all the small enemies when we're being chased, and the one-handed on both of them makes it extremely easy to shoot them while in a pinch while still running away. It's very, very nice. As for stims, you can use a lot of different things. There's, I don't use that one, but there's either Vitality Enhancement. Most often on a solo run, at least, I use Vitality Enhancement just so that I don't get hit by one thing and then break my leg and then have to stim or die with a broken leg for the like half second before I stim because I'm slowed or something, you know. But the other alternative I would probably use would be either the UAV Recon Booster if I'm trying to be really stealthy, or I would just go for Stamina Enhancement if I intend to fight more, just so I can run and gun, you know, more frequently. Then as for the armor, you're definitely going to want the SC30 Trailblazer Scout. This one gives you the highest amount of speed. Armor rating doesn't really matter, okay? Like, if you're going to get killed, you're probably going to get killed no matter how much armor you have. But in my case, in my experience, it's better to be faster because you're just not going to end up in scenarios where you get swarmed. You can keep that distance. That little bit of speed makes an unbelievable difference when kiting enemies and killing them. So this thing's insane. It also reduces the range at which enemies can detect you by 30%. So if you're doing solo Helldive missions, this armor set's really, really good for that. So highly recommend doing that. And then other than that, it doesn't really matter. Oh, the grenades. That's right. I forgot there's a grenade. So the grenade, I like to use the G16 Impact, and it explodes as soon as it hits something, which makes it much easier to place the explosion of the grenade exactly where you want. It still does good damage, so it's just really nice for clearing groups of small enemies rapidly in an emergency, like in a pinch, basically. Also for killing the fatties, the Bile Warriors, I think they're called. You hit them with impact, they just die no matter what, basically, so that can also help you out in certain situations. So that is that part of the loadout. So the next thing to take a look at is going to be the stratagems. First off, in the ship module, I don't even have that much. There's more I could get. You always want, obviously, you want all ship modules that apply to you, but all I have are the Eagle ones, and those are the ones I'd recommend going for first, mainly to get this last one, where Eagle stratagems have 1 more use per rearm. That one's insanely good. Rearm time reduced by 20% is also insane, and the cooldown time reduced by 50% is also not bad. So then there's also these stratagems. So for the stratagems, you're ideally going to want to be level 20, and so you can use the railgun. Railgun is like S++ tier in this game, at least when I made this video. It's just insane to use anything else. Like, it's the most versatile, most powerful weapon in the game, and it'd be insane to not use it, basically, unless you have to not use it, or there's a specific scenario you're in where, for, you know, the objective, it doesn't matter as much. But with this, you can kill chargers, you can kill brood mothers, like, extremely fast, and you can kill the Bile Warriors in one shot, and you can even kill a Bile Titan in a pinch with it if you need to. It's just kind of hard to do. And then after that, the other things that we're going to use are going to be the Eagle Cluster Bomb, which is probably the most OP Eagle thing in my opinion, at least for the Terminid missions. If you're playing against automatons, you may swap out, you know, a few things. I'm mainly focused on the Terminid missions for this because it's what I enjoy the most. But this build, I could do the same thing with the automaton missions, but I may swap, you know, the Eagle Strikes out, this Eagle Strike out for something else, or I may strike, you know, something might change. But generally, I probably wouldn't, actually. I think this would be the only thing I'd consider changing, is because the automatons have so much tankier things that this might not just kill them. This is better for clearing the really tiny, weak enemies, and automatons have less of those. So I may, against automatons, swap this out for the 500k G-bomb or just a totally different stratagem entirely. But I love the cluster bomb. It's insanely good and it has 5 uses, at least with the ship module that I have. So 5 uses is insane. Then the other one, now you would not expect this one, but I told you stealth assassin build, the Eagle Smoke Strike. This thing is a game changer if you're ever going to play solo. And even if you're playing in a group, if you're getting overwhelmed, you can throw this in front of you and run through it and then turn to the right or the left around a rock or something, and you can just lose all enemy aggro and run away in a lot of scenarios if you do it right. So Eagle Smoke Strike, actually S tier for playing with this build, at least. It's like S tier. And then the last thing that I get is the supply pack. This thing is broken as hell. So the reason supply pack is so good is because more than anything, it lets you use your railgun as much as you want. But also, if you end up having to use your submachine gun in a pinch and you've run out of ammo, you can replace it. Or just run out of ammo, your primary weapon, you can replace it. Another one is, you know, you have to close the bug nests. You know, you can use this to have infinite grenades, so you don't have to get a grenade launcher. You don't have to worry about a resupply. Also, if you use a resupply, you can pick up the resupplies and it'll put them into your backpack. So it's just insane. The main thing, though, more than anything, the highest value from this is from reloading the railgun so that you can kill the stronger enemies immediately and never have to stop and think about it. You can just, as soon as you see a charger, blow its leg armor off, change your primary, kill it, and, you know, just keep moving and not have to worry about, you know, holding out on your railgun ammo. You can just fire it as much as you want. If you see a Bile Titan, you can just burn 5, 10, 15 railgun shots into it and kill it, and then just reload your railgun and not have to really stop and think about it too much. So those are the stratagems. That's what you're going to use in order to do the stealth assassin build. Now, the one thing that I would change is if you're going to do one of the missions where it's, I don't see if there's not one right here, but there's one of these missions where it's just kill Terminids or kill automatons if you're doing the automatons. Of course, there's none available when I'm trying to talk about it. But there's the ones where you just have to kill them. Here it is. And it's a tiny little arena in the center of the map. Now, if that's the one that you're going to have to do, which you often do have to do those, then I would swap out a ton of this, and I wouldn't use the same build. This build's for all the normal maps, but it doesn't work really at all. Well, I think I could probably make it work with some practice on the kill ones, depending on the map. There's one map where it's literally just a flat ground. There's nothing you're going to be able to do with this almost. But the ones where you have a lot of terrain and, like, you know, spires or anything to work with, then you could make this build work. But if you're going to do the kill Terminids mission, as a solo at least, I usually just go with the 500 kg bomb. I go with the cluster bomb, and then maybe rocket pods or smoke screen if I really do want to try to stay alive and run around or something. Otherwise, just go with all Eagle airstrikes, and then maybe the mortar sentry or something. Or if you can climb up on a rock somewhere, there's one map you can climb up on a rock, and there's just a rock, and then everything else is flat. You could climb up that with the auto cannon to shoot the stomachs off of the Bile Titans, and then just sit up there throwing Eagle strikes. But outside of these missions, I would do the build I just mentioned. That's like the only exception is these missions. You could change it up to try to survive them if you're doing it solo. If you're not doing it solo, it doesn't matter. So even on Helldive, it's easy with 4 people, basically. But I would just run the build normally if you were playing with people on a kill Terminids or kill automatons mission. But if you're going to do a normal mission, any of the standard 40-minute ones, you know, kill eggs, fuel the thing, the ICBM, upload the codes, whatever, any of that stuff, then we're just going to go ahead and do the build that I just talked about. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm not actually going to do the whole mission because there's no reason to do that and why make a 40-minute video basically for this. But I will really quick just show. So we pick the cluster bomb, and then we're going to pick the smoke strike, and then the railgun, and then the supply pack, and we'll take vitality enhancement is what I'm going to take just so I don't get a broken limb at the wrong time and then just die. And then after that, with this build, you need to be smart. You need to have a decent idea of how the game works. And if you have all that and have decent aim and everything, then you can even do Helldive missions solo. Like I said, I remember to do a link to that in the description of this video. I literally posted a video already of me completing all 3 missions in an operation in a row with evacs using this build. It's actually amazing and fun as a solo build. It's a totally different video game. Totally different video game. So when you land, first thing you'll do is if there's nothing nearby, you'll just go ahead and get your railgun, go ahead and get your supply pack. And obviously, you're going to have to wait for these. But then after that, you're going to run around and you try to sneak to the objectives. Now, if something's here immediately on the start, I would then throw a smoke strike, say, like, over this way, off in the distance, and then run through it, and then run around the rocks or something like that. But there were no enemies here, so we go ahead and grab these 2 things. You'll take a look at the map, mark it on the map, and then you can see it at the compass on the top, and now you try to work your way there. Now, this is kind of a rough one because I have very little visibility. So it's actually really hard to not get jumped, basically, in this. But I do have the radar, so you'll constantly be wanting to open the radar and just looking for enemies on the radar, and you don't want to run into them. You're going to just be sneaking through things. So we're going to get to the first objective, and this is where it's really important to understand the build. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to assassinate this small group real fast. If you don't kill all of them right away, then they'll call for reinforcements, and if they call reinforcements, then it's bad. All right, I don't know if that thing actually aggroed. It looks like it didn't aggro, which is good. So what you would do is you want to soften things up with the cluster bomb first. I'm just going to go ahead and shoot him. They already know where I am. Oh my god, my game's playing poorly because I have my video rendered. Oh, okay, my game is screwed. I need to restart my game at some point. So you'll go ahead and soften them up with that. If you want, you can run and then throw another one. But if you're really far, they often just don't call reinforcements. So we're going to throw another one over there. And now what we're going to do, we're going to play this stealthy, is we're going to rotate around. So we see some enemies over there on the left, so we're going to ignore them. We're going to keep rotating. We got another little group here, and I'm going to just assassinate these real fast. They're probably going to call reinforcements now because of that. But you would just keep running around and get some distance. So now that they're on me, I'm not really threatened. So you just kind of play like this until you can get in there and get what you need. So what I can do here is... Oh, I got the orbital smoke strike on accident. Okay, well, that was not what I was supposed to get. I wasn't paying attention when I was clicking them. You're supposed to use eagle smoke strike. But I could just say put a smoke strike through here and then run through like this. Once you're safe, you want to go ahead and get your stamina back. And now that I pulled them out of one side, if I can lose them to the smoke, which that was not the smoke I wanted to use, so it had a weird pattern, but that's fine. Now I can sneak over here. So we got some enemies over there, and I could kill and assassinate those, but I think I can just sneak in over here. And I'm far enough away, and with this armor's, increased, reduced visibility or whatever, I can sneak in here. I open the map. I don't see anything on the radar. I think I'm all clear. So, okay, there we go. Clamber up here. Yeah, there's no enemies. So then you can sneak in, and you can do part of this. Okay, they're coming back in immediately, of course, because why not? They didn't even see me. We're going to really fast do this, and then we're going to run. So now they called reinforcements. So I'm going to rotate over this way because I saw enemies over that way. And you're starting to get a feel of how you play this now. So unfortunately, I don't have my eagle smoke strike because I accidentally got the orbital one. But normally right now what I would do is I would run out over here and I would throw a smoke strike right about there. And then I would run through it and I would lose all the aggro. But because I accidentally bought the wrong thing, I can't actually show it. But yeah, I would throw it right around here. And then I would run through it. And then I would rotate over here or over. I guess in this case, I'd rotate over there because there's enemies on the right. And I would lose all aggro. But because I don't have it, I can't really show you, unfortunately. But that will work. I've done it tons of times. That literally just works. And then I would just lose aggro. I'd run through here, run around the rocks. I would lose all aggro. But even just running away normally, I'm fast enough with this armor that I can just run and eventually lose them. The only problem without the smoke strike is I need to run away, where the smoke strike will allow me to run to the side after just getting a little bit of distance. And that running to the side will save me a ton of time instead of having to completely run away. But either way, you would run away, then you would find your way back in. Like, I would probably end up going all the way over to where my ping is at the bottom right, then over there, and then over through here, and then loop back around to the objective. So that's kind of the pattern here. And then I would just finish off the objective and then move on to the next one. So you, as like I said, stealth assassin build. You only kill things that you need to kill them. If reinforcements get called, you disengage. If you can... You want to, if you see a group of enemies that you think you can kill before they call reinforcements, then you just go ahead and, kill all of them, and then, they don't call reinforcements. If you don't know how it works, in the terminated missions, at least, the enemies, the smaller enemies, can start breathing up smoke into the air, and when they do, it calls reinforcements, and that makes the bug breaches come up. But if you can kill all the enemies before they come up out of the ground, then, or before they do the smoke screen thing out of their mouth, then no reinforcements come. And then you can just kill everything and nothing happens. And then you can just keep doing what you're doing. So that's really all that matters. Also, sound does not travel as far as you would think for normal gunfire. So if I fire my gun here, enemies that are about that far away, 40 meters or so, won't even hear me. So you can also just, you know, nearby to other enemies even, you can just clear a whole group real fast. All right, so like this. I killed that guy. Nothing happens. It doesn't start a fight or anything because there was nobody around it. Oh, God. Okay. There was somebody around to hear it. Didn't realize there were some enemies here. I didn't even... Okay, my radar must be turned off even though it shows the map is normal. But normally you'd have a radar, so... But yeah, you just come back in now. And then do the objective. There we go. I need to kill these guys to make sure they don't call anything. Keep an eye out. Make sure there's no stragglers that will randomly belch up the smoke. And look at this. Like, I'm already... You know, it takes a little while. I'm like 6 minutes in. But I'm about to complete the first objective. No deaths or anything. So, I'm all clear. Looks like there's no patrols coming in. The main thing you gotta watch out for is patrols, because often when you're doing an objective, the game will force spawn patrols, and the patrols will just happen to roam at your exact direction. You know what I mean? And then you'll just end up with patrols here. Also, I don't know where the last one is. Oh, there it is. That's kind of close to those little guys. They might hear this, but we'll see. Even if they do, they could start a bug breach. You notice that guy there? He looked up to look for me, but he didn't actually see me. So they'll start off with an animation to like look up and be like, oh, I heard something, but that does not automatically mean you are detected. So keep that in mind when doing this. All right, we got our patrol that I was talking about that's just magically roaming directly at me. They'll probably roam up into here, but this objective I think is done. I could just leave now, I think, but I want to double check. Okay, yeah. So then that's it, right? And now you go to the next objective. So since there were enemies over there, you'll just rotate around them. So if I head out over here, you'll see that I am all clear. And I'll just move over this way. And again, if I needed to, if I had the Eagle Smoke Strike, I would throw it, you know, somewhere where there's rocks like this, or ideally up there. And then throw it right next to the rocks, run through it, and then rotate right or left around a rock, and then run off into the distance, and you'll usually lose all aggro. And then you just go on the next objective and just work your way through things and get through all the objectives. If you get reinforcements on you, you just disengage. Also important to note, reinforcements will despawn after a minute or two if you lose aggro on them. So all those ones that come out of the bug breaches will literally disappear on their own if they lose aggro on you for like a minute or two. So keep that in mind. And that's how the build generally works. You can just go around and complete any mission solo on Helldive if you do things right. Also, there's some things that you probably want to know that they're not really about the build. They're just things you should know in general. First off, you can turn it to unsafe mode by holding reload on your railgun, and then it'll let you charge it higher, but then it will explode if you charge it too long. So now if you look here at the bottom of the screen, you see, let me reload it. If you change it to unsafe mode, you hold the button and it'll charge to the top, but if you let it go too far, it'll explode in your hands and kill you. Also, something to keep in mind with this build, and any build if you're playing solo, if you see stalkers, that means you need to immediately like get enemies off you or whatever you got to do so that you can go over to where you saw them come from and then find their nest and then kill it. So here we go. I found their nest. Extremely important. Never do an objective. Never ever do an objective if there's a stalker nest nearby as a solo. You will literally just die. So you always have to go and clear the objective. So supply pack came in handy. You got more grenades instead of having to wait, and then clear that and keep moving or whatever. But that's the general build. There's other things, you know, you need to know, but they're just general gameplay things like chargers. You can shoot them twice with a railgun in the arm. It'll knock their armor off, and then you can just kill them with a normal gun and just, you know, do a full magazine or something. Submachine gun's even faster if you're point blank. Stuff like that. But that's general game knowledge stuff. That's not really about the build. That's things you should know regardless of the build. But that's it, guys. That's the Stealth Assassin build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys have fun with it. I have fun with it. I love playing solo Helldive missions with it. It's extremely exciting to play solo Helldive missions with it. And I just think it's a really, really fun build. It's a totally different way to play the game. It's extremely overpowered for just surviving and never dying and getting the objectives done. Not as good for direct confrontations 100% of the time. Then you might want shield generator and tons of other, you know, gadgets. But for general gameplay survival, getting tons of kills and staying alive, getting objectives done, it's insane. So hopefully it helps you guys out. I liked it a lot. Hope you guys like it too. That was the Stealth Assassin build in Helldivers 2.